Alright people, for the past 7 days I've been using this algae treatment on one of my aquariums, and yo, the results are crazy. Let's talk about it. So, as a quick recap for anyone who doesn't know, I've recently set up my Fluval Roma, but we have been having some problems with the algae. Now it all started with some white hair algae, which actually turned out to be some fungi or fungus, and apparently it was a normal stage for a new tank when you have new hardscape that white fungus would start growing. However, I wasn't really aware of that, so I tried to tackle it with some shrimps. I moved some of my red cherry shrimps from my small aquarium over to the big one, but I also got some Amano shrimps from Wholesale Tropicals, and yeah, they done a great job. They ate up all of the algae and fungus, and the aquarium became very clear very quickly. So even the parts that had genuine algae and not just that white fungus, even they were starting to clear up. However, unfortunately, all of the shrimps did mysteriously disappear after I added my stormy catfish and my moray eel. Yeah, I mean, you know, the food chain is a thing, and at the end of the day, if you are gonna try out a oddball community tank like I am, there's always the danger that some of the fish will end up as snacks, or in this case shrimps. But yeah, it wasn't a big surprise, but I did need to find some alternatives now to deal with the algae. Now snails would have been great. Snails are amazing at algae eating. Wait, that was wrong. Snails are amazing at eating algae, that's it. But some of you are aware, I do have assassin snails in my Fluval Roma, which means I can't really get any other snails because the assassin snails would eat my normal snails. And for anyone wondering, I've got the assassin snails to help me deal with the pest snails that I have in the aquarium. And yeah man, the Fluval Roma 240 is a bit of a mess right now, I can't lie. But yeah, snails were out of the picture and so are shrimps, so I had to look for some more alternatives. Now naturally, as time went on and because I didn't have any algae eating things in the tank, the algae did start going a bit out of control. There was a lot of algae that started growing on the rocks, then we had that green hair algae that started growing on the branches and that, and yeah, like the tank was not looking nice people. The algae was really starting to become a problem, and of course there was always the option of manually removing all of the algae, but yeah, like it does get long after a while. So I moved on to fish, and my first option were the Siamese algae eaters. You see, I've got two in my Fluval Roma 200, and in that tank I have no problems with hair algae or anything like that because the Siamese algae eaters do such a great job at taking care of it. Now I didn't want to move the two I already have because of course they're looking after the Fluval Roma 200, so my plan was to get brand new ones for the Fluval Roma 240. However, when I went to Wholesale Tropicals, unfortunately they did not have any, so I decided to go for a pleco instead. Now that was a small mistake. After purchasing the pleco and uploading the video, someone did let me know in the comments that plecos are not the best at eating algae, which to be fair I was aware of, but I thought hey, maybe it will help out a little. But yeah, the pleco was not helping at all. But like I said, I was already kind of aware that plecos are not the best algae eaters, so whilst I was in Wholesale Tropicals I did look for a plan B, which was this algae treatment. And yeah, now that we're all up to date, let's talk about this treatment. So this treatment is a 1 week treatment, and once again people, the results are actually crazy. Like I am genuinely shocked. But let's go from the start. So the treatment comes with 2 bottles. One is labeled bottle A and the other one is labeled bottle B, and it also comes with some instructions, which is very important because you need to put in the right amount of each liquid throughout the week to kind of get this algae thing going. Now in the instructions there's a little chart, and for example with like a 100-litre tank there's a certain amount of drops that you need to put in, and the instructions are very straightforward. It has like a table and it shows you how many drops of each bottle you have to do. And in my particular case with the Fluval Roma, which is a 240-litre tank, on the first day I had to put in 120 drops of bottle A. And yeah, I kind of touched on it in my last video, but people, as soon as I put in that liquid, yeah, like that liquid turned my water green, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit, I can't lie. Like the fish, they didn't necessarily act weird or anything, but they did certainly get a bit more active, which is kind of normal I guess because the water is their home and I've just introduced something. But yeah, the reaction from the fish wasn't too strong, but I did kind of want to do some quick extra research, which I've done, and it turns out all the fish are perfectly safe with this this mixture. So I carried on doing the treatment and I added 120 drops into the aquarium. Now after the first day there was no real big difference. I put the drops in, the water turned green, and then after a few hours it just went back to normal, and I couldn't really see any difference. Like I said, on day 2 I had to put in some more drops of bottle A, and it was pretty much the same procedure. The whole tank went green, and it's pretty much like this throughout the whole week, people. On the 3rd day, if I remember correctly, I had to put in a mixture of bottle A and bottle B, and the most important thing really is just to make sure that you put in the right amount of drops. There was also 2 days, I believe it was day 4 and 5, where I didn't have to put in anything, so that was just 2 days rest for the tank, I'm assuming. And then the remaining days, day 6 and day 7, I had to add some treatment again. Before we carry on, if this video is helpful to you, then let me know by leaving a like, and if you want to see more videos like this every single week, then please remember to subscribe. It really helps me out. Now here's the thing, at the time whilst I was doing the treatment, I did not realize, or I didn't really notice any difference in the aquarium, apart from the green hair algae maybe, because that was slowly starting to die off. However, when I compare the footage from the first day to now, yo, the difference is crazy, people. So much of the algae is just gone now. The rocks are really starting to clear up. All of the woods is pretty much cleared up. There is still a little bit left over, but the aquarium did start off with a lot of algae, so I'm not surprised that I didn't take off everything, but it's certainly done a really good job. And honestly, the hardest part about it was just making sure that you put in the right amount of drops. And for me personally, it was really hard putting in the drops and then filming it at the same time. That was long. By the way, real quick, people, I forgot to tell you, I got my new tattoo, man. Got some new ink. It is a phoenix. Looks like this though. I'll try putting a different angle in there. And people, I can't lie, this part right here when it went over my elbow, yo, I swear I nearly passed out. Yeah, people, if you're ever getting a tattoo, just know if it goes over your elbow, it is painful, man. But yeah, in conclusion, this treatment definitely worked and it done a great job. However, people, please do your research before actually starting this treatment. Like I said, I done some quick research to make sure all of my fish were safe, because the moment I put in these bottles, the water just turned green, and yeah, man, it can freak you out a little bit, especially if you have some really expensive fish like I do. But yeah, the only question I really have now is it going to stay this way? Like, is it actually going to stop the algae from coming back, or was it more a treatment that just gets rid of the current algae in the aquarium? I guess time will tell, so I guess in a few weeks I will make an update and let you guys know what happened. But for now, all I can say is this treatment definitely works, because it cleared up about 80 to 90% of the algae in that aquarium. And yeah, if you want to see the day I set up my Fluval Roma 240, then click right here.